This short video, let's take a look at setting up our account settings in our Jobman software. From your user menu panel on the left here, scrolling down to the bottom, click on the settings tab to open up your settings page. Now we're in the settings area of the software, coming down to accounting, clicking on this here. This is where we can actually control, manage and set up our accounting settings further in the software. Most importantly, integration. Clicking on integration to open this further, this is where you can connect or disconnect your integrated accounting software package. If you wish to update this further, you can click on update. Okay, this opens up the edit integration page where you can update this further and make those changes. Down the bottom you can save or cancel to disregard. Using the back arrow here or going back to accounting at the top, we can then look at some of our other settings. Clicking on accounts. Now some of these may have already come through with your initial setup of the accounting software, or you may need to either update or create some more. Updating an existing one, you can obviously click on the account and you can update. You can set as a default at the top here, and you can also delete. So clicking on update takes you into the edit account page where you can update the name. You can update the code, so this numeric code here needs to identically match your chart of accounts that you have set up in your accounting software. You can then, from these drop down menu tabs on the right hand side here, you can obviously search and map the correct account types and also the tax type. Depending on the country you're in, then obviously you'd select the appropriate tax type. Again, down the bottom you can save those changes to apply those updates, or you can cancel to disregard. If you need to add more in, then basically hit the back arrow here, it goes back into the accounts section. Up the top we can click on create. So now the create account page is open. I can now set up my new account. Up the top here I've put in my name, I've put in my account code which identically matches the charter account in my accounting software, mapped it to the correct account type from using the drop down menu tab option here, and same underneath I've applied the correct tax type. Down the bottom here, to finish this off, I click on save changes and that account has been added. Up here I can further update this whenever required. I can also set this as a default. Now setting this as a default means that this will use this account as your default for invoices moving forward, or I can delete if I no longer need it. Using the back arrow, or I can click back on the accounting up the top here to go back to the accounting settings. If I want to delete multiple out, if I no longer require them, then obviously I can click these checkbox filters in front of the account names, and then with selected up here in the top right I can delete multiple in one click. Only delete though if you no longer need them. But in here, once I start creating my accounts, you can see that they've got a name, they're coded, mapped to the correct account type, and whether they're set up as a default or not. Going back to the accounting settings, the next thing we want to look at is our account types. So clicking account types, you'll see that you have some existing ones in here, or you may need to create these if you don't have any currently in this section. These are the current ones that I've got, so you can see here how they've got a name, they've got their code. If I need to again tick these filters in front with selected, I can delete multiple in one click if I no longer require them or I don't require them. I can click on one to open it, and I can obviously update this further, or I can delete this. Clicking on update will take you into the account type section where you can update the name, and you can also update the code to match what's set up in your accounting software. Down the bottom, clicking on save changes or cancel to disregard. If I want to add a new account type, back in this section here, using the back arrow, going back into seeing all my account types at the top here, I can create. I can obviously put my name in and then map it with my code. As you can see in this example, I've set up a new account type, given it my name, I've mapped it with a code. To finish this off, I click create down the bottom, and a new account type has been added. Clicking on the back arrow, going back into account types, I can go back again into my accounting settings. Down here, obviously I want to look at setting up my invoice statuses and invoice types. Clicking on statuses, this will allow you to set up on how you want to manage, and also allow you to create any further invoice statuses that you require in your Jobman software. Again, these are currently set up. If I want to add more, I can hit create at the top. So hitting create allows me to add a new one. I put in the name and I put in my code. So now I've put in a new status. I've given it my status name at the top. I've put in my code that again identically matches the way it's set up in my accounting software. Hit create, and this will add my new status. Again, I can have the options to update later on. I can set this as a default, which means this will be the first status that this invoice starts from, or I can delete if I no longer require it. Hitting the back arrow to go back to the other statuses or all statuses. Basically down here, I can open up an existing one. I can obviously update up the top here to change the name, change the code. Okay, down the bottom here, I can obviously save changes or cancel to disregard. I can again go back to invoice statuses. I can currently see what is my default over here on the right. If I want to delete multiple out because I no longer need them, I can again tick these filters in front of the status names with selected up in the top right here. I can delete in one click. For your accounting software sync for invoices, you will need to update your invoices to the submitted status, which is what's going to trigger an invoice being created in JobMan syncing across to your accounting software. Going on the back arrow, back to our accounting settings, then set up and manage in here my invoice types. So you can see here I've got existing ones already set up. If I want to edit this, I can click on one, I can click update, and I can update the name here of the type, and again I can apply the numeric code which is identical to that set up in my accounting software. Save the changes or cancel to disregard, and if I click the back arrow, I also have the ability to create more invoice types as I require by hitting create at the top here. Going back into our settings, the next thing is you have the ability here with payment terms. Clicking on payment terms, you can actually update these. So clicking on update, you've got your bills due here, and you've also got your invoices due. So you can obviously customize this or refine this a little bit further. So this here is to do with supplier invoices, and this one here is invoices due to do with your customer invoices. So you might make these 7 days, so you can just override the value here, and you might make this top one 30 days depending on what your default bills due is being set up in your accounting software. Down the bottom here you can also apply a discount if there's any sort of percentage value discounts to be applied off your invoices, and down the bottom you can save changes or disregard by clicking cancel. Saving to update those changes, hitting the back arrow. The last one we want to look at is our tax types. So clicking on tax types, again depending on what region or country you're in, you'll need to obviously manage these further. So if you've got existing ones in here, you can click on them. Probably better to update these rather than deleting them out. Click on update, and you can obviously put in your tax type name at the top. You can put in your code, which again identically needs to be the same in your accounting software, and then you can put in your percentage value rate here, like I've got in this example is 10%. Down the bottom, saving the changes or cancel to disregard. So you can see there that you need to have them set up for both your expenses and also any tax that you're liable for on income. Again, if you need to create more, then obviously you can click create at the top, and as you can see in this tax type example that I've just created, I've given it my name, put in my code which identically matches my accounting software, and then I've applied the correct value for the percentage rate. Down the bottom, obviously create to finish that off and add that new tax type. Clicking on the back arrow takes me back into those tax types. I can see all of them, and if I need to add more, I simply hit create and just follow those same steps. So that's how you can set up and manage your accounting settings in your JobMan software.
Are you still requiring further assistance on this topic or any other topic in JobMan software? No problem at all. See here these help article links. Simply click on these at the top of the page and your questions will be answered on this topic or any other topic further in JobMan.